Ladies and gentlemen, our next session is a panel discussion on the topic delivering services and values through cloud. Now, much like private enterprises, the government and the public sector are undergoing digital transformation globally, and cloud is a key enabler of this transformation story. This next session will discuss how public enterprises reimagine their transformation journey to deliver a frictionless customer experience in the digitally competitive world and how they embraced cloud to create a value for the society. Our speakers this evening are Akhilesh Srivastava, Board Member and COO, Indian Highway Management Company Limited, Amol Pai, CTO, SBI, Chandra Kishore Prasad, Executive Director, RailTel Corporation of India Limited, Jayant Gupta, Chief General Manager, IT, HPCL. Moderating the session is Nidhi Srivastava, Vice President and Global Head, Google Business Unit, Tata Consultancy Services. Nidhi has been working as a trusted advisor to business leaders in driving transformation across the business and IT landscape. She has worked with leading banking and financial services organizations in the design and execution of some cutting-edge transformation programs, which have delivered strong and robust productivity improvements to the business. Pleasure to have you all here with us this evening, and over to you, Nidhi.
Thank you, Justin. Welcome everyone to the panel discussion, delivering services and value through the cloud. I'm Nidhi Srivastava from Tata Consultancy Services and the moderator for this session. It is a real pleasure to host this session, which will focus on how the cloud is delivering value on a continuous basis, and most importantly, how the public sector enterprises have reimagined their digital transformation journey. Joining me on this panel discussion is a very lively and eclectic mix of panelists and speakers who bring in a tremendous amount of experience, innovation, and creativity to the discussion. So let me begin by introducing them and welcoming them to the session. First off, please join me in welcoming Akhilesh Srivastava, who is the Global Mobility Head. Akhilesh, welcome to this session. It's a pleasure to have you, and he's also an author. If you had to describe, your experience of leveraging cloud in one word, Akhilesh, what would that be? You're on mute. You just have to unmute yourself, Akhilesh. Yeah.
Thank you, Nidhi. Very good morning to all the panelists, or good evening wherever they are joining in from. And it's a very thank you very much for giving me this point to tell about how cloud is transforming the public sector. The cloud has got the tremendous potential, and in fact, it is proven by the example of NHAI, where we totally transformed the NHAI from a simple road construction, highway construction agency to a digital agency, and which is creating wonderful records over here. In spite of COVID, the NHAI broke its own 25-year records of highway construction, and that's precisely because of automation. Last year, we constructed more than 4,500 kilometers of national highways. But before I go further benefits about it, let me give just landscape of infrastructure sector, how difficult it is to automate it, put it digitized, and bring it on cloud. We all know that globally around 10 trillion US dollars are invested into infrastructure every year, and this is likely to go to 20 trillion US dollars by 2025. Second largest employment provider. The government of India, just to come out of the crisis, economic crisis created by COVID, is planning to spend 120 lakh crore, equivalent to around 1.8 trillion US dollar in next couple of years. All these things, if we want to optimize it, make it more fruitful, more effective, then the digitalization is the only solution, and more so going into the cloud computing. So what model we did was
let's do this, Akhilesh. Just give me a moment. Let me invite the other panelists, and then we'll dive a little more into your story at the National Highway Authority. Okay, so next up is Amol Pai, CTO at State Bank of India. Amol, welcome. Good to see you. How are you doing today?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Nidhi, and hello to everyone else joining the call. And thank you for this invite. And I'm doing great, and I'm happy to be part of this particular session. And to your question of what is that one word that has impacted the public sector? So when we talk about public sectors, the only word that you can think of is scale. Like if I factor in the number of account holders that I have in State Bank of India, then State Bank of India becomes the third biggest country in the world. So so there is China, there is India, then there is State Bank of India, and then there is America. Okay, so that's the pecking order.
Okay, so we have a very powerful person on our panel today. Welcome. Okay, so now let me welcome Chandra Kishore Prasad, the Executive Director for RailTel Corporation of India. Welcome, Prasad. Yeah, and if you can unmute, thank you. So Prasad, let me ask you one word that describes, your experience with cloud. What would it be?
Thank you, Nidhi. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from the listeners who are joining from various places. When you say one word, I will say that the cloud is central to the digital transformation journey, what we have embarked upon. And the cloud has made it possible in many ways. As Amol also said, that in a PSU, the scale is very important. And to really scale it up, any digital transformation initiatives, it's important to, the cloud is the only option, in fact, if I put it that way. And we have seen this, the scale part, as well as the speed at which you want to deliver. Because expectation of government over a period of time has been that we should deliver in the fastest possible time against very tight targets we have been able to deliver because of cloud. So that's my take on cloud. Yeah.
Welcome. It's wonderful to have you on the panel, and I'm really looking forward to probing and delving a little more as to how technology has really transformed the experience for a rail traveler. So I'd really love to get into that. And now it is time for me to welcome Jayant Gupta, the Chief General Manager for IT at HPCL. Welcome, Mr. Gupta. Great to have you on this session. And tell us a little bit about HPCL experience in cloud, if you can, using a word, phrase, sentence, whatever.
So let me think of the word. Probably Sathi describes the essence of cloud, and what it does is it's always there for you and runs along with you for whatever your requirements are at any point of time. So when we look at cloud, there are moments when you need something and you need it urgently. It's right there with you. So that has been our experience of cloud. We've had various opportunities at various times when we needed something to really deploy, to make use of, and it was right there for us. As other panelists have talked about, the speed is an essence, and we have a huge capex, infrastructure is getting rolled out. The schemes in general, helping public is the focus for us, somehow bringing in more transparency, bringing in ease for the consumers to operate and use products. And at a lot of places, you do need solutions, you do need applications. And I think cloud is right there with you at that time. So that's how I would want to put it up.
Wonderful. Okay, so I really have great speakers today. And now we'll look a little deeper into what kind of value has been delivered in these different sectors. So I'll come to you, Akhilesh. So
Yeah.
tell us a little more about how you have transformed the highway experience, so to say, into a digital one, and what kind of benefits can we expect when driving on the Indian highways?
Thank you, Nidhi, for a wonderful question. In fact, there's more possible because of our cloud things. Here, I will be explaining the benefit of how it comes, because infrastructure sector is it's a very complex. It's a more skill, it's a more manpower driven. It's not like IT industry or the financial industry where things are more or less automated, or penetration of technology is there. So it was very challenging just, and the landscape of infrastructure, especially in India and worldwide, is also very big, which is what we expect that by 2025, around 20 trillion US dollar will be invested into infrastructure annually. That's the huge number considering the global economy as it is, contributes around 6 to 7%. In India, things were, when we started digitizing the NHAI, these issues started coming up, because the work on the any construction agency, for example, NHAI, the work is distributed throughout the country in the very remote places that some highways being constructed. How to monitor it? Because a lot of money is being spent on those highways. So the cloud came as a best solution. What strategy I adopted to transform the NHAI just from a road construction agency to a digital agencies. Now NHAI is rated as full digital construction agency by the government of India. And we were rated as the highest, the top agency which has incorporated the technology, including cloud. So what the thing was, we introduced IoT sensors at almost in the entire project life cycle, starting from the planning. The softwares were there, the LiDAR, the drone, the GPS devices, everything were used. The same thing when it came to the execution phase, more or less similar things were introduced. We started using the drone to monitor the progress of projects. We started LiDAR, which gives you network survey vehicle, which tells the exact specification of the road, the quality of road being constructed. And in operation and maintenance, similar way to monitor the quality of the riding, we use network survey vehicle, the reflectometers to see the signages. And we introduced for the convenience of people is the electronic toll collection, that FASTag. And now the FASTag and these things put together has totally revolutionized the highway sector as it is. The FASTag, which reduced the waiting time at the toll plazas from roughly 6 to 7 minutes earlier to less than 60 seconds, 65 seconds. And at most of the places, there is no waiting time at all. This itself saves something around 21,000 crore rupees to the Indian Exchequer, just because of non-idling of the vehicles at toll plaza, various 700 plus toll plazas. Similarly, the money which started flowing into it on a cloud-based platform called FASTag, that's now digital. It's a writing on the wall. It comes something around 105 crore rupees per day, amounting to 40,000 crore rupees. So when this much money is transparently visible, the tolling was there, but it was in pockets, isolated. People were not connected. So this has now transformed the inflow, the financing mechanism of the highways. And as a result, more and more highways are being constructed. The project directors, the contractor, the concessionaire, whoever is working on the site, the consultant, they're all connected on our big data platform, the cloud-based platform called NHAI Data Lake. And the benefits, what you asked, Nidhi, very rightly, see, in spite of COVID pandemic, when majority of the construction companies were struggling to restart their work, NHAI broke its own record of 25 years of construction. We used to construct something around 2,200 to 2,500 kilometers highways in a year. Last year, we constructed 4,500 kilometers, massive jump over that. Not only this, the toll collection was very high. as well as and this led to the further the transparency, which is missing into the infrastructure sector. That has enhanced. So there was news that in one day NHAI constructed something around 34 kilometer of highways. In another place it was 27 kilometer highway. So now the records are being made because everybody is looking digitally. They're all connected on cloud in data lake and see who is constructing how much. So it has created a healthy competition among the builders, ultimately benefiting to the country and the citizens. So,
Right,
yeah.
right. I will also say when I think of FASTag, especially in COVID times, the contactless experience that it offers was also something which was of tremendous value,
Yes, yes.
apart from, the free flow of the traffic and better utilization of the assets, including the highways. So now let's take a slight detour and let's go into the banking world. Amol, banking sector over the years I have seen has been one of the early adopters of technology. When you look at cloud, what difference do you see cloud making to an average banking customer? Because each one of us is one of those customers. Each one of us use banks. So can you tell us a little bit about how the bank, particularly SBI, has used the cloud to transform the experience for each one of us? Amol, you have to unmute yourself. Yeah, thank you.
Maybe the banks have been using technology. They have been early adopters, and this is the case for most of the banks in India. I mean, it is just that maybe it doesn't get publicized well. For State Bank of India, we have always had a private cloud, which we called as Meghdut, and we have been having it around for the last 8 to 10 years. Correct. So we started quite a few years back on our private cloud journey. So what we essentially did was we started off with a private cloud setup, which was offering services on a IaaS concept. So that's how we started using our private cloud, and this has helped in the last 3 to 4 years a lot, because it has helped us to achieve what is the biggest question for us, and that is about scale, right? One of the success stories which I can definitely talk about is the UPI platform. Like, as much as Akhilesh talked about FASTag, the other payment service which is growing blazingly fast is UPI. I mean, you can keep drawing projections month on month, saying the forecast for the next 6 months looks like this, and at the end of the month, I can tell you are redrawing your forecasts all over again because of the way the UPI system is growing. So thanks to our private cloud setup, we have been able to scale. So for a customer of State Bank of India, it is a seamless experience. I mean, there is a digital service available, and we just are growing at a pace which is much faster as compared to what is anticipated. So for the customer, you get a seamless experience as far as adoption of digital products is concerned. And this is why, I mean, this helps because it cuts down on the friction. Like, imagine a situation where we offer a digital product and it is not able to serve the customer at that point in time. So the fence sitters generally tend to go back to their usual ways of banking rather than adopting what is the digital way of banking. But the moment they realize that it is very effortless, 2-3 clicks and a payment is done, you are guaranteeing the there is security around it. You have built all the moats around the digital transaction. More and more people start adopting the digital way of doing banking. So this, I believe, is one of the biggest changes, or rather the biggest impacts that the cloud adoption has brought in about to our customers.
Okay, wonderful. So now let's go back to the time in our childhood where rail travel was a very essential part of vacations. At least my happiest memories of my growing up years include the railways. Because you would go on vacations, you would visit family, and the whole journey of traveling together in a train was very memorable. But then over the years, we've seen that the flow of traffic has moved to the air. Air travel became the new norm. so to say. So my question to you, Chandra, is how has RailTel leveraged digital to deliver a superior customer experience and also be very relevant in the COVID pandemic times? So what did you do, in terms of navigating through the pandemic, and in that leverage, how did you leverage cloud? We would love to hear that. So you just have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Thank you. So cloud, as I told, has been the core of the digital transformation journey. And we were able to take up a lot of new digital transformation initiatives for railways. The one which we did in 2019-20, just before the pandemic started, was to digitize the entire workspace for the railways, which reduce the paperwork, which reduce the movement of files and physical files, and created enhance the productivity and also the accountability, in addition to transparency, what we have been talking on the digital transformation part. This has the second part was deployment of the largest public Wi-Fi network for the traveling public. So we connected 6,000 railway stations. We deployed this public Wi-Fi, and we used to, almost on a daily basis, we used to see around 8 to 10 crores of people logging pre-COVID to this network and using the Wi-Fi services provided on the same platform. So the cloud basically enabled us really to do faster enablement of faster digital offering digital solutions. We also did for the hospitals. In fact, when the COVID has struck, and then the hospitals were facing a lot of challenges separating the COVID ward. We know the problem with oxygen things and stuff like that. So we implemented the hospital management information system, automated that, which was still manual. In railways have close to 200 major hospitals and around 1,000 public healthcare center dispensaries, which are spread across the length and breadth of the country. And leveraging a cloud, we could deploy the solution and quickly on our own MPLS network, which RailTel is a telecom company, and since MPLS is more secure than normal internet services, we could deploy very fast a secure infrastructure we could give to the hospitals to continuity further to handle the situation crisis in a better way. On the customer experience part, as the leveraging the cloud has really helped to give a seamless experience to the customers. We were able to give a very highly available system, almost 99.999. In fact, we have been able to achieve almost 100% reliability because of the fault tolerant and the high availability architecture of the software defined data center implementation on architecture for the cloud. So ours is a government community cloud where we also offer services other than railways as well to various agencies, government agencies at the state level and the national level. And this is all possible because of the various benefits that the clouds offer.
And if you could talk for a minute about the digital workplace that you enabled during the COVID times.
Yeah. So the digital workspace which we enabled was a complete the project which required a lot of change management because people are working on manual systems and stuff like that. So that is one area. And the second was basically how we quickly deploy the solution, do the master data management, see that the offering which is there from the cloud is highly available. And at the same time, they're able to, from their endpoint, whatever is their endpoint, maybe from the laptops of the home or from the office, they were able to seamlessly access that. So during the COVID, we had we started doing in phases, and we onboarded around 50,000 users within 6 months. We could do much before the target given to us. It was a year target in which we had to complete close to 1 lakh users. So 50,000 we did within the first 6 months, and the next 3 months we did another 50,000. So within 9 months we could complete what we were supposed to do in 1 year. And then the COVID started, and then we kept on working on that to onboard another 1 lakh user. So another 1 lakh user we could do in another 3 months. So we could compress the time, which would have taken usually, because it also required change management. It's not only just deploying the application and basically enabling the people. It also required training, hand-holding, seeing the people, because railway is an old organization and we have people from various age groups. The average age is quite, unlike younger organizations, IT and all, where the age group, average age would be around 28 to 26. Railway's average age group would be around 40, 45. So making those people to work on predominantly on systems, and so that was something which we could manage, because COVID also helped us to ensure that people also start working because of the hygiene and things like that, which associated with working on digital platform. And we during the lockdown we enabled close to almost 50,000 VPN connections we provided on SSL through a platform to enable people to work from home. And also we deployed a video collaboration platform on the cloud through which people could collaborate and continue to do the work. So business continuity was ensured through the cloud infrastructure what we deployed, and that actually kept the workforce productive during the lockdown phase as well as during the post-lockdown as well. And in fact, the highest freight loading of 1,000 million metric ton was achieved last year by railways, because railways, though passenger traffic was has declined because of the COVID travel restrictions and COVID problems, but then freight traffic was running, like coal, food grains, perishables, vegetables, fruits, everything was moving by rail. And the government was keen to see that through the public distribution system, the food grains reaches the poorest of people so that they can be fed, because there was no jobs, people, factories were not working, and those things were causing a lot of hardship. And we had been moving the freight during that period seamlessly.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so now I'll come to you, Mr. Gupta. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've used not just cloud, but also data and analytics to transform the experience for different stakeholders, maybe your distributors at HPCL? So I'd love to hear, your perspective, both cloud, data, analytics, and if you did use some AI as well.
Yeah, so see, I would say we are cloud agnostic, and we look at technology as technology to provide the competitiveness to business, to provide ease to customers to operate, help users. That's our focus. Incidentally, we also have our own data center, which is already virtualized and supports the private cloud and provides all the services. What we've seen is that at times, and there are use cases where cloud or the services from those cloud or the applications from the clouds become very important to use. And that's where we make a hybrid of these services that we need and provide it to the users that require it. We have made use of various technologies, the digital ones, in a big way. We have used or are really embarking on prescriptive analytics in the asset management space, where we plan to tag the assets, to be able to figure out what is the kind of usage, what are the kind of downtimes, and then be able to have a better turnaround time for those assets. We have used visual inspections recently in the field, in the refineries, for carrying out the inspections, and these variables through the smart variables that we do the visual analytics. It helps the teams to get the support better from the experts and be able to relay in time these events which are happening and give them the guidance that they require. We use IT/OT integration to keep the environment safe. So there are pollution control boards which require online data to be fed, how the air is in terms of the pollution levels that are being ejected into the air, so that all of us remain safe. So that's where we do them. We are using the visual analytics at the retail outlets to ensure that proper SOPs are adhered to, and there is no untoward incident which can happen and can bring about danger to our customers at our retail outlets. One of the very interesting solution that we have uses cloud in some way and OT, where you define the fuel that required, and you just prepay it. You go to the outlet, and you don't even have to step out of the car. The guy at the outlet knows what is to be filled, how much it is to be filled, and he scans the code on the car itself, and the dispenser just automatically dispenses that product. So that's the kind of automation that happens with the use of right technology, with the use of right solutions, both on-prem at the retail outlets, some of them in cloud, and allow people to operate in a better way. Our friend talked about FASTag. We use a lot of multiple technologies available on cloud. For example, this FASTag could be used to make your payments at our HP outlet through the app that we have. So a lot of these factors become possible through the use of various technologies, various solutions available on cloud, and integrating them into your own cloud and make it available to users and customers.
Excellent, excellent. Now, what I would like to do is go around and look at what features or aspects of cloud have made your journey very worthwhile from a value delivery perspective. So I'll come to you, Akhilesh. So tell us a little bit about how you have used AI, artificial intelligence, to your advantage in the digital journey.
Yeah, thanks, Nidhi. AI is the next topping layer when you have enough data, and then you start analyzing it for finding out different outcomes which can help you in the business process or optimizing the things which your organization is working for. So here what we did, once we created an NHAI data lake, which is a cloud-based solution where all the stakeholders were on the single platform. So this is a huge set of data. Almost everything is over there. The payments, the approvals, the construction, the project photographs, everything, the disputes also. So here we put along with the IT Delhi, we did an MOU and started using their AI expertise on that. And they suppose if there is a dispute which is delaying a project by a few months or something, this has a cascading effect on the project. It leads to cost overrun and time overrun. And ultimately, the contractor or concessionaire wins a lot of money against us in arbitration or the court cases. So to analyze this trend, this AI helped us a lot. Now, the AI engine has matured with the input data which we have, and it tells us if there is a single day slip, the AI gives an alert. that you are missing it. This may turn out to be 40-45 crore rupees loss, or your project may get delayed because of this. So this is the alert. So this alert mechanism which we set up using the AI platform is a tremendous help. Now people are not doing the postmortem or doing the things or analyzing. They are getting the advanced alert itself a month earlier that this is the most critical thing. And that is done by not manually, is done by the AI engine. So it's absolutely transparent, proven with based on the data which can be relied upon, and it's helping. And that's the reason you must have heard Nitin Gadkari, Honorable Minister, stating that he got so much confidence with the system that he says now our target of road construction will be 100 kilometer per day, which we achieved 37 kilometer last year. So, and that which was earlier 10 kilometer for 20 years. So now this is the faith people generate when a system start working with the cloud and the data-driven system. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So, Amol, what I'd like to hear from you is what cloud native features have you seen make a difference, to the banking world or to
Nidhi, the thing is that, as I said, we were early adopters of the entire cloud setup. So we started with our infrastructure as a service, and that is how we have been essentially spinning out virtual machines which are required by applications to be brought up, correct? Now we are progressing away from being just an IaaS to using a lot of PaaS services. Now, when we talk about PaaS services, we are also integrating it with the entire DevOps life cycle. So it essentially means that a developer factors in what kind of setups are required, what kind of services are available in the cloud setup that the bank has to offer. And using that as an integration, we are creating our application. So more than the shift left, we are also ensuring that it is shift left, not just from a testing and a security standpoint, but shift left from a deployment standpoint also. So you factor in the kind of hardened virtual machines that you require, the size of the virtual machine that you require, and what other services are natively available. Like we recently have implemented something called as DR as a service. So you are able to switch over from a DC setup to a DR and back at the click of a button. Now, all these things are getting factored in even into your development and your planning life cycle itself. So because of all these native things coming in entirely into your development itself, what's happening here is that my development timelines are getting crunched and the availability of the system is also going up drastically. So now we are no longer talking about RTO. What we are saying here is that, I mean, are you able to seamlessly move from site A to site B without even the customer knowing about it? So these are the changes which are being done internally from a cloud native services adoption. And the indirect benefit is obviously to the customer where they always have a service on concept.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. So question for you, Chandra, is that can you tell us about some unique offerings? So we did hear about the digital workplace, and you spoke about these, the largest Wi-Fi offering which is available to a rail traveler. Is there anything else, which you think is unique from a value delivery perspective?
Yeah, we started with a cloud to offer service. In fact, as we know, it's on consumption model on OpEx, and we are reaching towards anything as a service offering. So, for example, the backup and replication as a service, or DR as a service, offering identity and access management as a service, database as a service. And on this, we have also started offering SaaS, especially the learning management as a service, where we integrated the learning management system with our video conference collaboration. So you can have a blended learning, especially this was targeted towards training institutes in the railways and also to customers who don't want to have their own setup and invest on CapEx, educational institutions and those type of. So the blended learning provides a virtual classroom where and online learning content together. So where it is led by a teacher as well as the online content both together. So going forward, we are embarking on that ending a service. Definitely, We have also gone ahead and deployed green edge data centers for the edge cloud to support IoT type of applications, especially for Industry 4.0, where production units and workshops are connected on that. And recently, the 5 edge clouds we have set up, one in Kolkata, one in Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Chennai. So these are getting integrated with the regional clouds, and so that the ease of manageability, orchestration layer, and other things can be seamlessly, the workloads can be moved across these different locations seamlessly. And based on each of these mixed type of workloads or diverse workloads, depending on the requirement, we can basically handle it at different locations. So that is the power of the cloud implementation, what we have achieved.
Okay, wonderful. So Jayant, I'll ask you, can you give some advice, what are some good practices to go about cloud adoption? See, everybody is moving to the cloud, but there is sometimes that little trepidation, apprehension, which platform to decide, what order to, go in from a move group perspective, which application to take to the cloud. So people have this dilemma. What can you share with our viewers?
I think I would want to bring up the aspect of technology being looked at from the technology lens, and keep whatever this cloud or non-cloud to a bare minimum. You have a responsibility to deliver to your clients, be those internal or external. Whatever best way could be, that is what should be picked up. We had a requirement where a solution was immediately required, didn't have the time to develop, to implement on-prem. You have to go to cloud to get it immediately and deliver it to the business. You might not have the energy, the time, you would lose the competitiveness if you delay that whole thing. So your fundamental requirements have to be looked at and then worked upon, not really from the lens of whether I should go to cloud. Look at it as your requirement and what fits in with that requirement, pick up the right one. That would be my take on cloud.
Excellent, excellent. So I have really enjoyed this discussion with all of you, and I'm going to wrap up the session now. First and foremost, thank you. It was really lovely to hear your stories of how you're driving the transformation in your enterprise. And a common theme that I saw across all the stories was around scale, speed, and agility. So those are the three big common attributes that I saw in each one of your stories of transformation and the offerings that you've taken to your internal or external stakeholders. What was really interesting was the combination, usage of IoT with cloud, or the usage of AI, software-defined networks, security. These different things, especially security, I will say it used to be a little bit of a stereotype that, can we really go on the cloud? Is it secure enough? I think.
Nidhi, sorry to intervene. Since you brought out the security aspect we did not cover, I think security in some ways would be better at cloud. If you look at it from the security perspective, any threat which could be kept away from your data center, away from your environment, should be handled at the borders. So within the country, if you look at it, there are borders. You keep the enemy at the border. You don't let them come inside. So cloud could be one way to look at it for security. Sorry to intervene. Please go ahead.
No. Wonderful. So I think, this is an unintended consequence of COVID, that cloud adoption went mainstream. And so some of the apprehension that people had, the way cloud scaled up in helping each one of us navigate the pandemic is really a little bit of a watershed moment. So thank you very much again. And with this, I would like to wrap up this session and take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nidhi.
Very.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much indeed, Nidhi, and to our speakers for that great session. A lot of insights there.